Welcome to Mams Talk. We're Mams Talk Survivor. All right, episode 5. This is really like the setup for the next episode. We're also missing a lot of footage here from the dragon fruit, so hopefully you can give us some insight into that. Also, perhaps here to give us some insight is our fifth boot, Dylan. We'll be here later. We'll have a little interview with him, and it'll be really cute. So yeah, we'll just get into the episode. So we start off, Dylan is filming himself. And
Well, very well.
really, really well. Some on camera, from the bottom, which people generally say you're not supposed to film that way, like more like angled from this way. And he's an influencer, so I expect a little bit from him.
Was it an artistic choice? We should ask.
We should ask, yeah, because this, I mean, it's something. Oh my God, you guys can see my fingerprints.
Yeah, wow. That's a good quality camera.
DNA.
Your MacBook webcam camera.
Yes, so um yeah, so Dylan is talking about his idol play after the crazy tribal council that you guys just had where Ella got voted off after 2 idols were played. Um and then you say something that had me puzzled. You said that you didn't think that I would think of that. It's like you went to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I did notice that I had a little faith in you. I think because we watched all of Survivor together. And I felt like I didn't think of it. So I kind of like to think that we have a similar level of, Survivor intelligence, but clearly I was proven very wrong in this moment. And I would never venture to say that again. Just saying
Yeah,
after
well,
after
because if
this.
you couldn't think of it, I couldn't,
Well,
obviously.
no,
I'm
no,
just kidding.
no. But like
Um,
my head was not there. I was like, oh, she wanted a little necklace for the day.
yeah. Oh, and a little background information. In the morning, obviously we live together, because we're like partners or whatever. In the morning, I'm getting dressed for like the day, blah blah blah, and I put this little necklace on, and Jess is like, "What's that?" And I played it off well, obviously, because she didn't think twice
Yeah,
about it.
clearly, and I just want to say also the like rigging allegations constantly flying. To be so clear, the fact that I did not even clock this should prove all of that wrong, along with the Dragon Fruit's horrible challenge performances. Also, by the way.
Right, I have integrity. But yeah, so in the morning I'm just like, it's just like it's kind of like Survivor-esque. Like I'm trying to like be like my Jeff Probst. Jeff Probst wears like a little like shark tooth, I think, something like that. So there was no suspicion had. And I was playing my own little game.
Yeah, you were playing the long game with that one.
And it
And
paid
I
off.
am really sad for you that you didn't get to put the clue out.
Yeah, oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you guys are basically saying that Gabby and CJ, you got like once the merge comes, because you expect it's coming soon, that you should use it against them, which I think is a good plan.
Yeah, we felt like that was the only way that we could like break up groups. We also were very convinced that the merge was happening next. Like we did not expect to be walking into a challenge next. So we were like really like it's us three against all of them. That was what we were really certain about.
Yeah, because they have 5 and you have 3, which would
Yeah.
make, yeah, but it makes sense. But there are some twists and turns coming.
Yeah, you can never be prepared.
Expect the unexpected. Not the slogan of this game, but it does apply. Yeah, what did you think the like dynamics of their tribe were? Did you have any thoughts at this point?
Gosh, I it's hard to remember.
Okay.
I think that I was pretty convinced that Olivia and Caroline were on the outs in some capacity, which I think is completely incorrect based on what is actually happening. But that was sort of I think there was a clip where I had mentioned like I want to try and get in with Olivia. We need to talk to Olivia or Caroline, I think is what I had said. And I think that that was me kind of feeling like those two would be the easiest to flip. How wrong I was, just saying.
Yeah, right. Um, so yeah, the challenge, we get into it. Obviously, the merge does not happen.
Hmm.
And it is revealed that
Oh,
sorry, go
I
ahead.
also just sorry, I'm sorry. We had a plan going into the challenge, where I had said that like we were gonna like tell the reason we tell them about the way tribal happened in like the gaggy way that it did, we wanted kind of seemingly like laying our cards all on the table is because we thought the merge was coming and we wanted to make it seem like we were not a unit. So we thought that if we had said like, oh my god, we wanted Dylan gone, and again, this is before it was announced that there was going to be a challenge, so we fully thought that like your announcement was going to be drop your buffs kind of situation. And we were like, first thing when we walk in, we'll be like, oh my god, we want this bitch Dylan gone. We like didn't want Ella to go, and now we're like fractured. Like we're like all free agents. That's like basically the vibe that we wanted to give off.
Yeah, you might
And
have
then
jumped
you're
the
like,
gun on that.
and then you're like, okay, so for the next challenge, and we're all like,
Huh?
okay,
What?
cool, awesome, sounds good.
Yeah, and so you guys are talking about what transpired at Tribal Council.
Mhm.
And I don't know, because I know myself, I don't know if anyone else is clocking this. I'm clearly visibly upset about it because I really wanted to put the clue out. Um,
Mm.
yeah. And there's like, as I'm explaining the rules to tic-tac-toe, like truly no energy. There's no light in my eyes. Like I'm just like, yeah, so it's tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I kind of thought that might be because you were tired, but also the I could tell you were mad when Allie, I think because Dylan reads the clue out, right? And then I think Allie or someone is like, "Wait, so where was the clue? Like, how'd you
Yeah,
get the
and
clue?"
I'm like, it wasn't out.
You were like, "It was never put out."
And I was like, and they were like, wait, what? It
Yeah,
wasn't out. I was like, I just gave it to them.
just so they like so that like they could read my like clue that I made.
I wish the
Because
only reason I gave it to them is to show that it wasn't just like me like going along with it because
right, right.
they're rigging allegations.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm someone of integrity, so I had to be like, look, it is an idol. See,
Right. Right.
um,
And like, like immunity idols have to come with like a paper really to
usually, yeah,
authenticate them. So, yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah. That's the only reason I gave it. Otherwise, I would have just like
Hmm.
if they
Oh,
just
not
like.
because you were like really proud of your like little clue.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean the clue is cute, right?
Yeah, it was good.
It was cute,
It
and I
was
spent a
good.
lot of time writing it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
So I was like, okay, let's read it. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, obviously I really enjoyed the like dramatic tribal that the idol like brought, but it's just not what I had envisioned. Um,
Yeah, I am ultimately happy that it went the way it went
yeah,
because
yeah.
we had some boring tribals, to be so clear.
Yeah. So that brought a little place that I was waiting for. Um,
And we didn't even film it for real. We dramatized it. But
yeah. So
it
yeah,
happened.
tic-tac-toe, it starts. There's some absolutely horrible gameplay of tic-tac-toe happening here.
Oh my god. I cannot believe this tic-tac-toe game. Also, just want to say I can't watch this challenge. It's so awful to relive it. This was like the worst I ever felt was like in this moment.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
obviously,
I I have to say I'm happy that I'm not the only one who totally fucked up tic-tac-toe. There was a lot of bad tic-tac-toe play from a
like
lot of people.
across the board. I mean, I think the only people who were like consistently like putting it in like good spots were Gabby, Caroline, and I think maybe Zach. Everyone else was just like there would be like almost a tic-tac-toe or like an opportunity to block and they would like put it somewhere like completely
Yeah.
different. And I think there's like an element here of like you're just trying to go fast, so you just like put it down
Hmm.
wherever.
Yeah.
But it is funny to watch when you're just looking at the board.
Totally. I also noticed a lot of people putting it like between two spots. Like there was a moment where someone had put it like to me what looked like they wanted it to be like the left middle. And then because it was between the middle and the bottom, someone from the other team like put it over the middle spot and got tic-tac-toe. Like, so if they had been more careful placing it, like it would have blocked that tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
And like a lot of moving of the ropes. Like just it was a chaotic challenge. And then I also noticed like who I should have gone back to watch to figure out exactly, but somebody started like boxing out the other team. I can't
Like
remember who it
physically with their
was.
bodies, right?
Yeah. I think it was Dylan or Zach. I
I
can't
think
remember.
from my memory is Zach did that to
Mhm.
Gabby once, but this was
Mhm.
a reaction because I think it was something like 3-0, and then Zach was
Mhm.
okay. We have to like physically block them
Yeah.
because they're faster than us,
Yeah.
which was a good
Which was
idea.
smart. No, it was smart, but
Yeah.
then they started doing it better than
Because I
us.
think someone was too loud about it, so then they were like,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll block you out because we're faster.
Yeah, yeah, because like one they could get there earlier, and so, but Dylan was aggressive with the boxing out. I noticed it from him specifically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, giving the energy of the bandana challenge
for sure.
with his
Um,
body.
Caroline also I noticed was using the strategy of like waiting to see what people placed, and then she would like make a move like reactive to that, which I thought was really
Mhm.
smart.
Yeah,
Um, and then
right. If there
Gabby,
wasn't like,
go
yeah,
ahead.
if there wasn't already like a tic tac toe open, like to see what the best move would be. Yeah,
Yeah. And then she'd be like, okay, you put it there, now I'm gonna block you here. Got it.
yeah,
Um, and then Gabby like is literally like diving on the ground.
yeah. That was crazy. I also had told my team, I was like, okay, guys, corners. We got to get the corners. And I don't think that that strategy was really implemented from my viewing, but
I
you
don't think
know,
I think people just
strategy went
saw
out the
they saw
window.
an empty spot and they put their O down or X or whatever you guys had. That's
Yeah, and
it.
I can't say that I can't remember if I followed my own strategy. So, you know, it was just Floporama City over here.
Yeah. Everyone's like clearly exhausted because well, I mean, obviously like doing it a bunch of times is already exhausting. And then there's also only 3 people competing on each tribe, which I think is part of
Yeah.
it. Um,
Right. And also I just think the fact that we felt like so dejected did not help like at all. Like I feel like we went into this like feeling like we were gonna lose and we just like let
that's
it
true.
happen.
I also would like to say that people kept false starting because things
Oh
were getting
yeah.
very intense and like and you can like you can feel it with like the boxing out and stuff like people like at one point are just like I haven't even said like go yet and they're just like and I'm like no go back and then they're like
I
oh
think it
come on.
I think it was CJ like every time.
It was CJ and Dylan. I didn't want to name
Mm.
names but it was the two of them and
Hey, at
then
least it was balanced across the teams.
yeah I think CJ was the initiator most of the time. And then he was like, "What? Come on!" I was like, "You can't just go whenever you want to."
He was like, but I gotta get there first.
So true. Yeah.
And then yeah, I was haunted by that last moment where it was like a cat's game and you had to keep moving it around.
Oh,
But
that's when the tic-tac-toe gets really interesting.
yeah, because you have one open spot to work with. But
Yeah.
I had thought, I'm pretty sure that I was wrong, but in the moment I had thought that there was a way to get tic tac toe and I just moved the wrong piece. I think I was wrong. I don't think that there was actually a way to get tic tac toe in
Yeah.
that last moment, but I was beating myself up about it for a while. But I think I did inevitably open up the spot that got them the tic tac toe.
That's
So
where the chess really comes in here. And I feel like we didn't get that because people didn't play like regular tic-tac-toe at first. People were
yeah,
just putting it wherever.
yeah.
But I
I
would this is a challenge that I would consider bringing back at another season because I think it is interesting.
Well,
But
make sure it's
I
a season
do
I'm not playing.
or you could just leave before it happens.
I just this one I think I was so like also wrapped up in the fact that I'm not a good runner that like I wasn't even thinking about like a way to use my strength because like I could have tried to be more strategic about my placement and just gone slower, you know, which I think would have helped. At least I would be good at one of the parts of it, but
Mhm.
instead I was just bad at both of them because I was running as fast as I could, which is not that fast, and then I was putting it wherever it was an open spot without really thinking. So you live and you learn.
Yeah. Something else that I thought was just funny. I mean, in the moment, it was it was like contributed to the sadness of it all with you guys just like losing over and over and over. Like, but Ella is filming this challenge, and she's behind the camera. She's like, oh no. And a lot of it I cut out, but like the whole anytime you guys lose, she's like, oh, no. But there's the time that you're like tic-tac-toe, she goes,
Oh
yeah,
God.
you know you didn't get
Yeah, that moment is so awful. I like had to look away while I was rewatching it. I'm like, it's tic tac toe, it's tic tac toe, and then I'm
And she
like,
goes,
oh,
no, it's not.
oh, no, it is, no, it is. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad. I
And
was
you can just hear you in the
embarrassed
background
about
like,
that.
yes, it is. Meanwhile, Gabby's like,
Oh,
tic-tac-toe, we win.
yeah, for the winning point, like that was, yeah, yeah.
You guys
And
did
again,
have
I don't.
like a small little comeback moment though.
We
It,
did.
it felt
It
like
was once
maybe
we.
something was gonna happen, but
Yeah, it was like I think once we started like being a little bit more aggressive with our bodies,
yeah.
but then they bested us there too. So.
Yeah, so there's not a true oolonging that happens here, and if anyone is confused about the term, that happened in Survivor Palau, where one tribe got like completely decimated, and didn't win any of the challenges. And then by the time merge happened, they literally only had one person left. Um, I'm curious to think about a scenario where that was the case.
Hmm.
So obviously Dylan goes here. If it's you and Zach, we probably would have done some sort of puzzle or something.
Zach's winning. Zach's winning the puzzle. Probably. I
But we
mean,
can't do fire
I wasn't
escape. Not in the park.
right, right, because that is what would have happened. Like
Yeah.
that's what Bobby John and Steph did. That would have been so sad. Wow,
That would have been sad, but also like maybe a little dramatic.
it definitely would have been good TV.
Yeah. But yeah, so now you guys have to make the hard decision to vote someone else out. It's pretty brutal to watch.
Yeah.
We move on. Succulents, we look at what they're doing. Gabby's chair breaks.
Mm.
I, I've just been talking, I've been keeping notes of whose chair is broken, who's not sitting on chairs when we're at tribal, and I'm taking note. That's all.
The curse of the chairs.
I, the curse of the chairs may or may not be a factor here. We'll keep an eye on it. Um, and Olivia's wheels are turning. Okay. Um, Now she's like, oh, that's what the idol looks like.
Right, right. Now, well,
Yes.
because she had been saying, she was like, I have no idea what I'm looking for. Like, she had been idol hunting the whole time. And I remember at one of the challenges, she had mentioned, like, so I are there idols? Like, so there are idols, like that kind of thing. Like, I think also when you had like the first tribal or the only tribal they went to, you had said like any idols, and then she was like, oh, so there are idols. So she's thinking about it like consistently. But I do remember she had said like, I have no idea what they even look like. I don't know what to look for. I think they were expecting you to put them in like a Ziploc bag, from what I understand.
Why would I
I
know?
think I one of them had said like it's probably in a little bag, and
And
like
it
I don't
was.
know, to me that read like a makeshift, like not the like little burlap sacks that you had. So I think that they didn't quite know what to look for.
Yeah.
But
Just
now
like,
that she's seen the turtle, she's like, okay, got it.
yeah. And obviously, we don't get any of them finding it, but that now they know for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you guys don't film anything.
Well, so then also something that the succulents say is that's when Gabby mentions that Dylan is the obvious person to go, first of all. Like we like just tried to get him out and he had an idol, so it seems obvious that he'll go. But then she also says, "Oh, it's really interesting that Dylan's the one that found the idol because he's not a Survivor fan. He probably found it because he doesn't watch the show, and that's not something that happens on Survivor. Like Jeff isn't wearing idols around his neck or whatever." Um, but I did also think it was interesting because like that is actually something that like a deep cut Survivor fan would think of. Like Zach mentions it because there's like that's never actually happened before, but like in one of the seasons there's like a podium idol that someone tries to play. So
It's
that's
not an
like
actual idol. There's just a
no, it's not.
simple there's a symbol on the podium that a contestant like kind of takes a shot in the dark and they're like, I guess I'm gonna play that on
Yeah.
the podium. And then Jeff's like, you want to play my podium? And he's like, yeah, I'm playing that idol. And he goes,
Yeah.
this is not an idol.
Yeah. Was that inspiration for you for this?
Not really. I just was thinking of a kind of creative way because it's hard to actually hide stuff like in
Hmm.
Central Park like that. And I was just trying to think of a creative way to like hide it. And I thought that maybe like because it kind of had to be in plain sight in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
And I didn't have all that time because it's just me like putting clues out and stuff like that. I didn't have the time to do that. So um I just was like, well, maybe I'll like tease them with this around my neck and then
Hmm. Yeah, I think that the real survivor moment surrounding that is part of why I was like convinced it was not real. Um, because it's not real in that moment. And like I was kind of expecting you to have a similar like reaction to Jeff being like, you wanna play my necklace. Like
yeah.
that's sort of what I was expecting. But I did sort of assume that you had been inspired by that. But yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
that was supposed to be kind of like the merge idol, I guess.
Hmm.
Like the clue was supposed to come out after merge. So there was not really like a camp for the merge. Like it was just kind of like wherever you wanted to go in the park. So
Yeah,
I was like, you know where everyone always is gonna be? Like tribal council and challenges.
right.
I'm here. Like
Yeah.
we have
We
no set
did,
foot
yeah.
here. What was more honestly a point of inspiration, I think it was Survivor's second chances with Kelly Wentworth when
Mhm.
she has to find the idol at the challenge.
Right. Yes.
But I was like, I can't, there's no what am I gonna put it in,
Yeah.
like um
Right.
so that's really what it was. But yeah,
Yeah. So,
can you shed a
sorry.
little light on what was discussed? Because obviously you guys are sad and tired,
Hmm.
so you don't film anything, but conversations are still happening, right?
Yeah. 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 Definitely
You
conversations
just
are
couldn't
happening.
pick up the phone.
Girl, I don't know. I didn't even realize we weren't filming till afterwards. I was so silly because I was pretty like aware of the fact that we needed to be filming because I was pretty dedicated to wanting to like make some sort of compilation of all the footage. Like I was really into that idea. So I was like, I would really like to film everything. But I think that we were just like it all felt very real, and it wasn't like something where I was like, okay, time to put on my camera face or whatever. Like it was genuinely like
Yeah.
sad emotionally and stuff. So but we didn't go back to camp. We because we were just like there's three of us, so we did like one-on-ones like right outside the camp area.
You
I
couldn't even be
believe,
bothered to walk over to camp.
yeah, no, no, we
Yeah.
did it right
No, I
outside of
remember
Tribe.
this in the moment. You were like, "Do we
Yeah.
have to go back?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna come right back to tribal. We have 10 minutes. Like, we'll just do like, there's three of us. There's nothing to talk about in a group. We'll just like, we'll just talk about it now. So I can't remember who talked to who first. I kind of feel like Zach and Dylan talked first. Oh, no, no, no. Me and Dylan talked first. And Dylan had said, like, Zach is too good of a player. He's gonna be like, he's very strategic. He knows the show. Like, that was sort of like the argument. And then me and Dylan knew a similar amount of people on the other tribe, so we thought that we could socially like work together to like create relationships by using like people we already knew and like working together to like make those connections. So at that moment, I had thought that like, okay, this is the time to get rid of Zach. This is clearly going to be the merge next. Like, there's no way that we're going to tribal again with two
Yeah.
people. So we were purely thinking about merge strategy. And I did think Zach was a big threat. So I was like, okay, I guess this is like the time for Zach to go. And then we had talked, and then Zach was like, okay, I'm ready to talk to you guys. And we were like, I think we maybe made our decision. And then he was like, no, yeah, no, we were
Oh,
like,
that would have been so good. Oh,
it wasn't like I know that's why I was so sad it wasn't filmed. It wasn't like you know, we're not going to let you talk to us because our minds aren't going to change kind of thing. It was just like, we're out of time. And I think that we've made our decision. And to him, it's obvious what that decision is. It's that he's going because he hasn't talked to either of us. So then he's like, no, I need to make my case. Like he was like, let me speak to you for two, like a minute or two each. And like, and then so he talks to both of us and he clearly convinces both of us to flip on the other one.
That's cool.
Yeah, which I like, I think is, yeah, it's just super interesting. But he made a great argument to me. He he had talking points. He like blew through them, and it was like Dylan's a very he's very strong in the challenges. He's going to be really good at the individual and especially endurance challenges. He is like he's a wild card. He's like a sneaky social player. Like he like had all these reasons why Dylan should be the one to go. And he also said that like the only reason I didn't go home over Ella was because he convinced Dylan
Mm.
to get rid of Ella instead of me. And like I was his number one ally and we were going to take this game to the end. Like it was just a very good argument overall.
Yeah,
And he totally
I'm
changed my
wondering
mind.
what Zach told Dylan. When we get him in
Yes.
later, we will definitely be asking him that. Hopefully he remembers. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm dying to know also what he said to Dylan.
that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, also a hindrance of this tribal is there's not a lot of like talking that happens at the tribal council either, because it's the
Hmm.
loud sounds of the island. Um, so it's basically just like you don't really know who's going until it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And I
And
just
then
like, and we're all just completely dejected. Like you can just see it, you know?
yeah, and Dylan forgets to play his shot in the dark. Second time that's happened.
Hmm.
Well, I'm curious why he was so sure that it was him
Me too.
after you guys had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing we can ask him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so obviously there's a 2-1 vote. You get the vote from Dylan, and he goes, and then there's two people left standing in your tribe.
Yeah.
And then Dylan's after like the boot confessional, he says that he should have maybe been more vocal on where he stood. Do you think that would have made a difference?
More vocal on where he stood with regarding
He
what.
says like the reason he got voted out, he thinks is well, A, because he's a threat,
Hmm.
and then B, because like with both of you, he was kind of like not very firm on like where he stood and like who he wanted out. Like, did you feel that?
Yeah. Yes, I totally saw him as like completely wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Like, and he also like seemed to me like he had his mind changed extremely quickly whenever I would talk to him. And then he would like, especially because I would talk to him and I would feel like I had genuinely convinced him of something. And then he would like turn around and do something else. And I felt like it was less that he was lying to me and more that his mind was changed by somebody else that he talked to in a
Yeah.
different circumstance, which is, I don't know if that's true, but that was just the perception I had of the way like I felt like he was really willing to flip one way or the other if it was gonna like benefit him.
Yeah. So do you
I
think it would
will,
have made a difference if he was like really like, we need to get rid of Zach?
I think yes.
Like
I
we
don't
just
know if it would have. Zach is extremely good at talking, and he clearly convinced me that he was my number one. Um, but I do think that if Dylan had been a little bit more like, I want to work with you, and we as a collective need to move forward in this way, it would have made me feel better about keeping him instead.
yeah. So I think maybe it's a good time for us to bring him in. So we're gonna do that now and get some insight on his thought process here. All right, the queen herself has arrived, Dylan. Okay, so this is your first time watching this. How has that experience been for you?
That's correct. I tell people all the time, I don't watch reality TV. I make reality TV. So, and that's a very similar reason for why I often wasn't filming during Survivor. I'm not used to holding a camera. I don't really do all of that. I like to just kind of perform and let someone else or whatever do a lot of that kind of background work.
Mhm.
Um, I don't really do a lot of that heavy lifting. But it was lovely to see the episodes. I was a little disappointed in some of the lighting. So I would just take note on that for season 3. But I was happy to see that people were people were threatened by me. I think kind of like
Oh,
I
yeah.
kept yeah, like I kept talking about like target on my back, and everyone was always like, "There's no target on your back. Stop saying that." There literally was. There were multiple times where I think it was in the first episode. People were like, "I think that we should take out Dylan,"
Oh,
or
yeah.
like. Or I think it was episode 2. It was like right after Dom had left. People were like, I think Dylan should be like soon. Like, or I think it was after Dom and Liz. People were like, Dylan's got to go. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
no.
to be fair, I think everyone kind of had some sort of target on their back. But I don't think that you were pinpointed. Like,
Yeah, I don't think I
I
was
wanted you
pinpointed.
gone.
Yes, that's fair. No, that's
I
fair.
wanted you gone.
That's
But I
yeah. No, I think
also,
I'm delusional. So I thought everyone was obsessed with taking me down, which is kind of how my life operates.
right, there you go. So there's a lot of gaps in this episode, because you guys didn't film anything. Um, Jess talked about things that you two talked about. Jess, can you recap?
yeah, well, I had said that like after we lost the tic-tac-toe challenge, we like had gone into just like the clearing beyond the tribal and we did like our one-on-ones. And like I think we talked first and we came to a consensus that we were like gonna get rid of Zach, right?
Yeah, I mean that sounds right. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like each of the pairings that we went into were like, we're gonna get rid of the other one.
Yeah, but I remember that we were like, should we even talk to Zach? And we were like, I feel like we both maybe like, unless we were like, unless the other wants to talk to Zach right now, like I'm fine with this. Basically, like us two going into the merge. And then Zach, we had told Zach, we were like, oh, Zach, I think we're good. And then Zach was like, wait, no, I'm gonna talk to you guys. And we're
That is
just
so funny.
wondering, yeah, we're just wondering maybe what Zach told you because then you end up voting for me, I end up voting for you, even though it seemed like we were like on the same page before that.
It must have been like just the classic, whoever was in the pairing was gonna pit against the other. So I don't remember exactly, but it first of all, the entire time I was just flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know how to play this social game. Like I don't really play games like that. So I just was like kind of being like, hee hee hoo hoo, who are we voting out? Just don't let it be me. So I really had no plans ever with regards to voting people out. I was just like, let's just do good in the challenge, which I didn't actually do because the challenges are hard and I'm not good at them. So my guess would be that Zach came up to me and I was probably like, okay, let's just get Jess the fuck out. And I think Zach is also like a really good talker. And so he was probably in his mind, I'm sure he was like, oh, me and Jess are totally gonna make it to the merge, and Dylan is gonna be like is getting the boot. But someone needs to like talk to Dylan. Like I think that Zach was just trying to save his ass probably and was like, I just
Mhm.
need to make sure that my bases are covered and that me and Jess are sticking with this like two going into the merge as we had planned, and that Jess is not turning on me for Dylan, which I don't think that you were.
So,
I definitely
And
so
considered
Zach
it.
just had a better argument than Jess, is what I'm hearing.
well, I don't think that it was necessarily a better argument. It was probably just the timing. And I feel like that always works, at least with me and Survivor. So much of it is about the timing. And there were so many times in the episodes where we would go into the tribal and it was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do the last thing that was said to me to do.
That's what
And
I
so I
said.
think,
That's what
yeah,
I said
yeah,
you would do. Yep.
yeah, and so I'm like, I think that Zach was just trying to have that moment and have it be like the last thing that was in my mind. I also found Jess to be a fiercer competitor than Zach. Like, I think that overall in the challenges, she was probably doing a little bit better. I didn't really see Zach like gobbling in any of the like physical challenges, and then I know that Jess was kind of eating up the like puzzle mental things.
Did you see yourself gobbling or eating anything?
Oh no, 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 no. No, and I had my contacts in and I didn't see a damn thing.
So you almost didn't come to this
Yeah.
because one, you didn't realize it was my for my birthday.
Well, yes.
And
And if it were, and thank God Allie reminded me this the morning of, because I probably wouldn't have
yeah. And two, you were like, what is this little game for babies?
Yeah, I just for some reason, and my perspective has definitely changed, but before this, I was kind of like, I don't like game. Like I don't when I'm at like a pregame and I'm drinking and I'm kikiing with the girls and somebody pulls out a fucking board game, I want to flip the table like Teresa Guidice in fucking Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like
Right.
put the fucking board game away, let's like be adults and talk with each other. But this was it was very adult and in the sense of it reminded me of my McKinsey days where I was bullshitting and manipulating everyone at once. So I think that it was sort of second nature to me. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you like have any expectations going in, and how did your mindset like change once you actually like got into it?
I I think that going into it, I had very little expectations and specifically low expectations for myself and my performance. I
And
think that I was
what
just
prep did you do for this?
what prep? Oh, almost none. On the subway there, I think I was running 20 minutes late, which was only preceded by Liam, I believe. Thank God. I love when someone runs later than me. It makes me
Yeah,
feel a
he
lot
was
better.
late today. Let's put that on the books here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, shocking. But the prep that I did, I had done almost none. I had gone out the night before. I think we were meeting on a Saturday. I was very hungover. And on the subway to Central Park, I watched I think it was like a 5 minute synopsis of what is Survivor. So it was like how the game works, because I just didn't want people to have to like explain too many things to me. Obviously, that was kind of in vain because everyone did have to explain a lot of things to me, but I needed to at least understand like what do we do? Like how
Mm.
do we vote? When do things happen? So that was kind of helpful, but
Yeah, I
not that
mean, that's more than Liam did.
well.
I didn't
You're
That's
beating
true.
Liam once again.
Liam didn't even realize that you had to vote someone off. So,
Right.
yeah, you're getting
That which is crazy. Because I think that that's like when I think of Survivor, I think of an island where people are literally like claw gamed off. And also I think that the difference between me and Liam is like once I got there, all of the like extra competitive, kooky, crazy, like, and also the realization that this was kind of like my reality TV debut kicked in. And I was like, oh wait, now I do want to stay. I don't care about winning because like there's no cash prize. I don't need fucking bragging rights. Look at me, I have that already. But what I did want was the like vindication. Like I wanted to be that bitch, and I wanted to like prove to people that I wasn't just slay and funny and pretty, but I was also sissy, kooky, and competitive.
all right, that'll be your little under your job next time. What
Yeah,
was it? It's something competitive but also silly, kooky.
silly,
We'll
kooky.
watch it back.
You'll just have to
We'll watch
watch
it
it
back.
back. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I will say I also like fully wanted you gone first over Dom, but I wanted
Really?
to make yes, but I wanted to make you play the stupid game and like it. So I was like, Dylan can't go first.
And it were if I had gone first, you would have lost me completely. I definitely would not have stuck around. That's for
Mhm.
certain.
Oh, you would
And
have been gone.
I would have
It
been
was like
good
eleven
gone.
thirty.
Oh,
Like
I was like nap time. Time to get a snack and a nap. And I probably wouldn't have come to Skinny Atlas either. So
yeah,
I think that was
definitely
fun.
not.
And I do remember that, like watching the episodes, I think from episode one, I want to say it was like you and Ella talking, and you guys were kind of like, Dylan's gotta go, Dylan's gotta go. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I was like, we need to get out the couple. I was like, first of all, I don't
Mhm.
even know Dom and Liz like that. It was like the Olivia game. I was like, get them the fuck out. I don't know them. I don't have any, there's no rhyme or reason for keeping them. They're just gonna like snog and want to fuck each other later at post merge. And we're not doing this is a PG-13 show. So I don't have time for all that straight nonsense in front of the children. So I knew that they had to get packing.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
to think about the children for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so you made an interesting point, like you didn't like know everyone that well. Like you kind of were the odd one out on your tribe, like a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
why do you think you lasted as long as you did? Pretty
Well,
much.
I think that not knowing people in at least in the beginning, it actually felt a little bit helpful because I don't think that people really knew what I was about and what I was trying to do and about the fact that I was a star that was going to rise regardless of what the tides were doing. And so I think that was helpful with like Dom and Liz, who I think probably like maybe in the beginning didn't really see me as like a big threat. I knew Jess and Ella the most in that group, and I feel like they were really the only two who were like Dylan has to go. So I think that it's actually helpful in the beginning to not know people because they don't really see you as a threat. They don't really see you as anything. They don't fucking see you as at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you happy with your tribe, or were you kind of like, I wish I was on the other?
Well, after we continuously lost, I was definitely not pleased. Um, I think that in the beginning, I was fine with the tribe. I'm trying to think of who was on the other tribe. It was like Al. I think that I would have felt maybe more comfortable on the other tribe because my closest friend in the competition was Allie. Like she had a target on her back, I think, from the beginning. Like I think that people saw her as fierce competition. I think that she had a couple too many close friends in the group on her tribe. And so that just kind of wound up being a scary situation for her. It was like I feel like I didn't have to perform as well as she did, I think, even though we were sort of giving the same thing.
Yeah,
And
I think
by giving the same thing, I mean like a lot of talk and then like decent, not great in the challenges.
yeah, I think you raise a good point because I think they all knew each other pretty well, like outside of Olivia. Like the people that
Yeah.
knew each other the most were like looking at each other, like for the
Yes.
merge. Like Allie's looking at Gabby and CJ, like CJ's kind of like and Caroline are looking at Allie, like and
Right.
Olivia's just kind of like flying under the radar a little bit.
Don't even get me started with that.
Well,
I hope she sees this.
so okay, let's talk about the big moment. Your big moment.
But
The idol you grabbed from my neck. What gave you the confidence to do that?
well, I don't know about I don't think we need to talk about what gave me the confidence
Oh,
to do that.
sorry.
I think that that one's pretty clear. I was really again flying by the seat of my pants, not really knowing what I was doing. I saw this cute little gemstone, this little accessory, and I was just feeling like there was such a dearth. Is a dearth a lot or a little of something? Is that a lot?
Never
I
heard
don't
of
know.
that word.
You're
Couldn't
the
tell you.
Ivy League educated one.
There was a famine. There was a famine of glamour and beauty. And the second I saw an accessory, I was like, I just need something. I need something to bring me back to the real realm. Also, I think that like Jess and Zach, and this is what I mean, bitches are all talk. Like they're sitting there and they're like, oh my God, like, do you think that's an idol? Or like Ella, I don't know. I don't know these bitches' names.
I want to be so clear. I was not. I was fully
Oh,
convinced that was not an idol, which
oh,
is
maybe it
also
was
dumb on
Zach.
my part. But
Because I
yeah,
remember
Zach and
later
Ella, yeah.
Zach and
yeah,
Ella were the ones talking about it.
I remember at some point Zach was saying something to me. This isn't really a spoiler. It happens in the next episode, but Zach like says something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, like I should have grabbed it," and I'm like, "Yeah, well you should have, you should have, but you didn't." But I did, and I think that that was it was fun because it was giving very twist and turn. And this was remind me, was this that Gaggy elimination?
Yeah,
Yeah, where Ella goes, yeah.
Oh, yes.
right.
Right. And so I think that me securing that, it completely changed the way that the episode ended because I would have gone because I think it was like 3 votes me, 1 vote Jess or Zach.
It was It was 3 you, 1 Zach. You both play idols, so then it was gonna
Yeah.
be me or Ella. Yeah,
Yeah. And so thank God that I had like taken the advice of my peers who were like doing all of the heavy lifting here. And then I was just like, great, I'm safe. Because
yeah,
I would have been fucked.
Yeah,
So
I think they lack what you don't in the fact that I think they were really concerned that if they took it and it wasn't an idol, then they would be like boo with the fool. When you're just like, I'm just gonna take it. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm never afraid to look stupid. And I think I made that pretty clear throughout this season of Survivor.
right.
Yeah. And also like you oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Um continue. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So you've been referred to throughout this game from both tribes as a wild card. Um,
Yes.
do you think that like your lack of like agency or like position in the game, like is that did that lead to your demise? And is there anything you could have done to like save yourself from this vote?
Yes, I think it definitely did lead to my demise. I think but I don't know, maybe it's because I just don't like give a fuck enough. Or like I'm not because even going into Survivor Skinny Atlas, I wasn't like, okay, here's how I'm gonna play the social game. I kind of was just like, okay, round two of like same shit, different day. But I think that like seeing other people really think through like who they want their top three to be, and then like the lies that they're gonna tell people like me or Dom or Liz, like people who they don't see in their top three. I'm thinking of like Jess, Ella, and Zach, where like they were a lot more methodical in like, okay, this is the top three that I want to see. This is how we're gonna pick people off, and this is the story that we're gonna tell them so that they're blindsided by their demise or their elimination. I wasn't doing that, and I don't really know how to do that. Like I don't, my brain doesn't work that quickly. And so I would love to try that and maybe give that a test in a future season of Survivor. Maybe I should start thinking about that now because it does take me so long. But yeah, it definitely fucked me. I think that if I had like played smarter and been a little bit more willing to make alliances and to be more strategic in my lying to other people, I could have probably avoided getting voted out during this round without having to use an idol.
Yeah. I I appreciate this. You kind of answered the question about like what you would do next time you play. Do you have
Oh, yeah.
anything else to add on? Obviously, don't give away anything that happens in Scan, but like if
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
to return for a third time, maybe, like what do you see in yourself season three?
I want to get better at exactly what I said, just like being a little bit more, and it's a tough balance because I think that being outspoken to certain people can sometimes bite you in the ass. So maybe it's like less shit talking and more like strategic talk as opposed to me just sitting there being like, I'm scared.
I have a
So I
target on
think
my back.
yeah, I
I
haven't
almost
talking
just
on
have
my
the
back.
target on my back.
It's like, girl, that's a zit. That's not a target. Like, pop the pimple and keep it moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I would just be a lot more strategic in my like methods for alliances and boogers, who are the people that I'm like, yeah, like choose your boogers in the beginning. Like, there's no like because I think that I walked into Survivor being like, oh, like the boogers will just kind of sort themselves out, and I didn't see myself as a booger, but actually, like I was the snot.
Yeah.
Um,
And you
so
gotta pick those. That's your job.
yeah,
Otherwise,
you gotta
just build up. Yeah.
yeah, just flick it.
Gotta get it
Yeah,
out of here. All right.
right.
So we've gabbed a lot, but it is now time for us to crown an episode MVP.
Mm,
Now, I feel like there are very slim pickings here,
Of
but
course.
alas, we
Yes.
have to come up with something. Jess, what are you? What's
Okay.
your
I'll start it off once again. I picked Zach as my MVP because, as we discussed, great talker. It's not, I don't think that my reason for picking him is necessarily showcased in the episode because we did not film the primary strategy conversation. But the fact that he convinced both me and Dylan to vote for the other and didn't get any votes himself, I think is enough.
Dylan? Where are
yeah.
you?
Can you remind me which challenge was this? This wasn't
This
the
was
was this the
tic-tac-toe.
tic-tac-toe? Oh, it
Yes.
was. Well, in my mind, like when I was watching the episode last night, I was thinking CJ, but maybe I think that's just because he and I were going head to head in every round starting at the beginning, and I'm pretty fast on my feet, and CJ is kind of like he's very tall, so you think that he's kind of going to be like, oh, like clumsy. Um, but he wasn't. He was actually like pretty quick and nimble. So I thought that was kind of fierce. So I would probably like I would give him like half of that. Like it's giving very Mean Girls. Like I want to take the crown and give him half of it, the smaller half. And then I would probably give the other half to myself because I think that what a slay little twist, even though like I didn't do any
Okay,
of
well,
the
this is
thinking.
the episode MVP.
Right. Yeah.
What
Well,
twist you leaving?
the twist is the like me having the gall and gumption to grab the little turtle
Which was
necklace
last
from.
episode.
Last episode.
Oh,
This
right.
is
This
you
is when
actually leaving.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So no, I was nothing of the sort. I was the
You were
most
in the conversation last time though.
yeah, I
Yes,
was the
yes, you
most
were.
voluptuous player. But I think CJ, yeah, I would probably maybe like give it to like CJ or or Zach. Yeah, I have trouble giving other people the crown as a queen, but
For me, okay, I see the arguments for Zach. However, I don't think I, in good faith, can give it to someone who did not film this masterful gameplay. You don't know what I, okay?
You're
That's
right,
true.
and that's fair. That's fair.
I wrote down Gabby because I feel that her placements were really good on tic-tac-toe. This really came down to challenge.
They were. Yeah, that's true.
For me. The placements were good and she was running fast. She dove. Like, I feel like she really like gave her all. And I feel like even though like her name is kind of floating, like I don't think that she's the main target right now. And she's like building like good like rapport with her tribe to go into merge.
Yeah, it's kind of gaggy because it's interesting to see how on our tribe that Dom and Liz, the couple, were like picked off one by one from the jump, whereas Gabby and CJ are actually kind of like, yeah, like the CJ and Gabby's names are in other people's mouths, but it's not, nothing's being manifested. Like it's not coming to fruition anyway.
Yeah, I mean they
and they're
haven't
both
had
doing pretty.
like a chance to get rid of them yet because you guys keep losing.
Well, they had one chance,
This
but
is true.
they had a
one
pretty.
chance.
They were gonna
Yeah,
keep, but
that's
they were
fair.
gonna keep Liam in.
No. It's not a real chance, but
That's true. That's true.
He literally he had to go.
No, but I do agree with Dylan though. I think that like they have not been discussed nearly as much as I would have assumed that they were.
Yeah.
Like
And
we thought on our tribe, we thought that they were like targets 1 and 2. You know, like we were kind of assuming that they were like not really being like integrated into the tribe in a way that they could like be truly trusted, which is clearly what's happening.
Yeah, and I think that it sucked because that they were actually able to build a little bit more trust as time went on because their whole tribe was just like celebrating and kikiing. Whereas I think that if it was more like a win here, a win there, on and off, they wouldn't have had the chance to develop that trust. I think that they would have been the next two to go.
Yeah, I especially Gabby. Yeah.
We've discussed this as well in like previous episodes, but the two of them are doing something that Dom and Liz did not, which is they're really like separating themselves and they're not like snogging and like, you know, doing all that like PDA straight stuff.
Yeah, which Dom and Liz were doing so much of that.
Yeah, I had to cut out so much making out content.
Yeah.
From those first 2 rounds, those
It's
first
insane.
2 vote outs. Oof.
And whatever you did cut out, just send to me just for scientific research purposes.
Anyway, so who's our episode MVP?
Well, we have a lot of names being thrown out. I totally hear you about like the fact that, you know, the Dragon Fruits did not film anything substantial enough to perhaps give anybody the MVP episode of the episode. So if we're looking purely at the succulents, I would tend to agree that Gabby seems to be running the show over there.
I agree. I think that Gabby was being more strategic than CJ was, while also like somehow keeping herself alive in this like couple weirdness. And also she ate the tic-tac-toe. Like there were a couple times where she went against Jess and she was legit throwing herself.
I think she also came up with the counter strategy to block you guys blocking her.
Yes.
So all right, so that's our episode MVP. Congratulations, Gabby. There's the crown. Oh, so sorry. Hey guys.
Oh, is it there? Are we done?
Yeah, that's it. I was just saying hi to your
the people behind you.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Yeah. All right, so that is the end of this episode. Until next time, ma'am's signing off.